Radio JP, I see you on the board. I see you've made another sale. So well done and congratulations. And how does it feel?
Hi, Hannes. Thank you. No, the feeling is indescribable. I literally doubled my money within a week, and I feel fantastic.
So my job is a lot easier because now it's only 900% additional instead of 1,000%. So you're making life easy for me. Well done and congratulations. I love that. Okay, where did the sale come from? Did you track it? Was it from? Did you start with the advertisements?
Yes, I did. I made a small video ad, then I posted it on my Facebook business page, and the second sale is also one of my friends. But I contacted him after the sale, and I congratulated him, and I told him what pushed you forward to take the leap of faith, and he said it was the video that I posted on Facebook, and yeah, so the video works.
So although it looks like an ad, it's actually a free ad. It's not a paid ad so you've made 2 sales, and both of those sales were free ads. It's not paid ads.
Yes.
Okay. Right. JP, can I help you a little bit?
Yes, please.
Okay. I've looked at that video that you've made, that you've put on on your Facebook, and I think the concept there is fabulous, but there's a small problem that I think is a problem. I'm going to discuss it with you, and then you can make up your mind and say what you want to say. In general, give us a quick, when you made that video, what went through your mind and what did you want to achieve?
Well, I basically went to a property that I recently bought, and I tried to show people that there's a system and there's a way to buy properties, and a lot of people buy wrong. And, I tried to show them that this is the property, this was what it was listed for. Then I drilled down and I said, okay, but I gave a lower offer. And then, once I got the offer signed, I came to the location where the property is, and I had a due diligence and a nice look at the condition of the property. And then I even negotiated the property, further down, which resulted in that I can buy the property for more or less 300,000 Rand under market value, just by following the simple steps that I did. To add on that, it was to point the people and to say that you need a system or a formula or a software to do the calculations before you buy property, and then to direct them to the property webinar.
Okay, and so far there were no sales from that specific ad, the paid ad.
No, I posted the video on my personal blog, and yeah.
We need to look at the psychology, the way that people react. So when you place an ad, you always have to take that into consideration. With Facebook, we're sitting with a very specific problem. With Google Ads, that person is going to do a search on keywords, right? I'm not talking about the paid ad. I'm talking about search engine optimization. So that's a different. He's looking for. He knows that he's got a problem, and then he looks for the answer to the problem. On Facebook, it's the other way around. That ad is actually it disturb him. It disrupt. He's there for a social interaction, and then they place this ad in front of him. Right, so now he's going to look at it. So his frame of mind is not. It is not from a buying point of view. It's from I'm trying to get information. Right, now that causes a problem, because the problem is this. When I looked at your video, how many variables are there when it comes to properties? 27. Okay, so there's a lot of variables when it comes to property. And what you did was to give one of the variables, and you say the strategies that you followed, and then you showed them that you that you did your due diligence and that you check what's the price in that area and you got it for 300,000 below value, right? And that's great. But here's the thing: even if you did not apply the rest of what I'm teaching you, if you did not apply that, would you still have bought the property? In other words, if you only negotiated a 300,000 rand better price, would you still have bought that property?
No, the message that I gave is just one of the variables, and I wouldn't have bought the property if I didn't know how to calculate the rest of the variables. Yes.
That's it. Okay, and this is, so the person that listened to this think, okay, I know this perfectly. There's no reason for me to try to figure it out. I know exactly. All I have to do is to go and negotiate and put in a lower offer and then negotiate a little bit further and negotiate a little bit further. But this is one of the things that I'm teaching my students, that even if you get a property sometimes 800,000 under so-called market value, because the banks pushes up the market value, right? And they say this is what the property is worth, because in South Africa, it does not work like in America. If you can afford that property, they're going to give you the money 90% of the time, right? So that is just one variable, but there's 27 other variables. So the person that's looking at the ad or that looking at this, say, thank you, JP, you're doing me a huge favor. This is what I'm going to do, and now I know JP's strategy. So can you see what I'm trying to do? You have to position that and evoke a curiosity. So otherwise he's not going to listen to the seminar or the webinar, or you will not attend that. So when you redo that, keep that in mind and say, okay, but how can I tell a person that this is what I've done, this was the first step, but without this knowledge that I've gained at the by doing the course, there's no ways. Even if I've just done that, that property still would not be it would not help me to get to my power goal or to my goal. Do you see where I'm going with this?
Yes, I see.
There's a thing called Dunning and Kruger effect. Okay, and it's psychologists and they figured out, especially on social media, you're going to see that a person, our brain works. It's a wonderful thing. You see something, you see another thing, you put a lot of things together, and you make up your mind, and that's why you think that you know. And you'll see on social media, especially in social media, when you write something, you'll get all these wise guys on social media knowing everything. It's just the way that it works. And there's a lot of people, whenever you talk to them, they absolutely know everything. And the problem is they don't know that they don't know. They're in a state of confolculation. And confolculation simply means that you do not know that you're supposed to know. Now, then the learning curve is going to start. So what our job is to evoke enough curiosity so that they do not get to a point where they think that they know what you've done and that they can fill in the gaps. So it's a science to get a person in order to get him on the webinar or on the video sales letter, especially on Facebook. Okay, and that is, I think, what I wanted to bring to you and to the rest of the people that is listening. I can perhaps tell you a little story on how I discovered this before. I started getting into it. One of my students, he later became a partner, and as he was as a partner, I could see that there was something missing, and I asked him a question. I asked him, did he do the debt eradication course? We've got the debt eradication course that is part of the Wealth Creators University. And he said to me, yes, he did it. I said to him, no ways, there's no ways that you could have done that course, because this problem that you are battling with, I address specifically in that course. He says, no, he's done the course. He's got the notes and blah, blah, blah. And then I got this light bulb moment. And I said to him, did he do the 200 Rand course? That's how I promoted it. They had to book a seat for 200 Rand. And it was almost a 2 hour where I gave them the overview of what I'm going to discuss in the course. And the course at that point in time, I think, was 1,750 Rand. So he paid for the 200 Rand course, and in his mind, he thought, well, he had it all. And I asked him, and he said, I asked him, did you do the 1,750? He says, no, the 200. I said, why didn't you do the 1,750 Rand course? Remember, we're partners, so I can speak freely to him. And he said to me, but everything that I needed to know, you gave me on the 200 Rand. I said to him, no ways. Go back and do the 1,750 Rand course, and then come back to me and tell me if this problem that you've got is still the problem. So about 2 weeks later, he came back to me and he said to me, Hannes, I asked him about the course, and he said to me, Hannes, you've saved me that course a couple of 100,000 Rand. And I said to him, why do you say this? And he said to me, when in his mind he thought that he knew everything, and there was nothing that he could learn by paying more money for that. Now, there's a reason why people pay money for courses, because if you really think about it, it seems that everything is for free on the internet. All that information is for free on the internet, but the sequencing is not right and the experience is not right, and that's the reason why people pay for courses. And our job is to get them to know that they do not know what they're supposed to know. And for that, they have to, I can almost say, the desire must be big enough so that they are willing to go through the sacrifice to pay it, because money only flows from a low value to a high value. If you value the money in your pocket more than what you value the outcome, you're never going to pay for that outcome, right? So the money is going to stay in your pocket. You have to find a way, and that's part of the ads that we are running. Does it make sense?
100%.
Okay, so how much money have you spent so far on that specific ad?
I'll spend 337 Rand.
Okay, what do you think you should do?
I should change my ad.
Okay, that is one way of doing it. What I would do if I were you is to actually stop that ad, right? Stop it, and then with this newfound information, start planning. But there's a second thing that I think is also important. Remember, as a wealth creator, our job is to minimize the risk, right? Now, I know that you've done exceptionally well and that you're doing great and that you've got the money. But how can you get the risk down, and by getting the risk down, get the growth up? Is there a way that you know where you can get the risk down and therefore increase the growth?
Well, at this point, my biggest risk is not to spend all the money that I've made on ads that's not going to work. So I would say I need to learn or find a way to create a better ad that will draw more people to the webinars, and so that it can convert into more sales, instead of an ad where I show people too much or make them think that they now know how to do it. So in short, I would say I need to work on my ads.
Okay, that's one way of and that's perfect. Nothing wrong with that. But have you received the 4,500 Rand? Is that money in your pocket, yes or no?
It's in the affiliate system.
So it's not in your pocket?
No.
Okay, and what's our job as wealth creators?
To create, grow, and protect.
Okay, and have you protected that 4,500 at the moment?
No, because it's still in the affiliate system.
Okay, in other words, it's not in your control. You trust that we will pay you.
Yes.
Right. In other words, you're not controlling that money. And remember the formula? Is it possible? Can I make it happen? Do I have control over it? At the moment, and I can guarantee you, JP, that there are millions, if not billions of money that is due and that was due to affiliates that never got paid, right? So those affiliates worked on, yeah, I'm going to get paid, and then they borrow heavily. So remember, we are busy sharing lessons with other people so that they do not make those mistakes. This is why we've got this channel. And in affiliate marketing, that's typically what happens. The affiliates start making money, and then for some crazy reason, PayPal decided, okay, I'm going to freeze this account, and then they keep the money, and then it's legal battles. Eventually they get the money, but now suddenly that person is sitting with a massive, massive problem because his money is locked in, he borrowed against his bond, and now the risk becomes severe. So what I'd like you to do is to perhaps start creating and working on the ads. In the meantime, continue with what you're doing, and then wait until you've got the money so that you then do a risk reversal. So remember, we want to get the risk as low as possible. So the 300 and something odd rand that's your risk, because that's your initial capital that flows out of your pocket into the ads to start the process. Right. Now, the first thing that you do, as soon as you get the 4,500, you put your own money back into your pocket. Now you're working with the business money. In other words, you're not at risk at all. You've eliminated all the risk. From that moment, you are going to get an infinite growth on your investment. Is that making any sense?
Yes, that makes sense. And I actually knew it. I just don't know why I couldn't tell you now.
No, I know you know it. And I know, remember, you're on the spot, so to speak, right? Because it's not ingrained in your subconscious mind. You still have to think about the processes. And because I did not set you up, I wanted to spring this as a surprise on you, right? Because that is where the learning happens. Does it make sense?
Okay. Yes, it does.
Because
it does.
Now, next time that something like this happens, you'll immediately relate. But if you keep on feeding a person, they think they know, but subconsciously and consciously they do not know, and that's the reason why they then step into these traps. But they've got the knowledge; they know that what they should do. But have you heard this? I know I should have done that, but I haven't done it. And this is typically why that happens. Okay, so I want you to really keep this and put it in your memory bank so that next time, whenever, because at the moment it's small, but what if you saw, listen, this thing is going to explode, and then you started pushing, because that's what other people are doing, especially in affiliate marketing. They see they're getting a return, and then they say, okay, it's going to take, some of these organizations take 60 days before they pay out. And then they start pumping money into the ad, and then for some crazy reason the company goes bankrupt, or they start, put them on a hold and so they pay later, or there was an issue, and I'm talking about PayPal, and I'm talking about Pioneer, and I'm talking about some of the big organizations that is doing this with affiliate marketing, especially if there's big money involved, because it may just as well be a scam, and therefore they need to pay attention. But that can put you out of business, right? Making sense?
Yes, definitely valuable lesson. Keep the risk down.
You have to keep remember, this is our job as wealth creators. We do not want to take a risk. Now, there's other ways that we can mitigate that risk as well. I'm going to share that to get even better growth, and I'm going to share that for the method students. I'm not going to. So instead of getting 1,000% growth, I think that if you follow that, we can push that up easily to in the vicinity of 10,000 to maybe even 100,000% growth that you can get on your investment. Because, and this is why I say income is more important than capital. And the second thing is that the only thing that matters is the growth. Because the higher the growth is, according to the formula for riches, according to this book, the higher that growth is, it simply means the higher your competency must be. It's a direct correlation between how competent you are, in other words, the kind of growth that you're getting, and the risk that you're taking. And we call that asymmetrical. So you want to structure always an asymmetrical deal where you have got all the upsides in the world, but no downside, or very, very little downside. And the more competent you are by applying the strategy in the formula, in the method, you're going to see, and that's why we can get 14 million% growth and 100 million% growth in the first year, which is basically an explosive growth, simply because that risk is so low. So although it's going to take a little bit longer to get perhaps to your goal, it's a lot safer, and it is something that I want you to ingrain in yourself, to keep yourself almost like pace yourself, so that you do not, this is a small deal, but what if it was $1 million that you had to put in? If it's not part of your makeup, the way that you think and react and behave, right? They can catch you. And this is how millions of people and millions of people are going to be caught during this corona, where people are going to give them 5% and 10% and show them systems that can automate this thing, and it's scams. So let's say be careful.
Right. Thank you. Learning.
Okay. Well, that's the purpose, and I hope that if you learn, that every single person that is going to listen to this, and that is why we have that's competency. In other words, now suddenly we talk in terms of experience that you're gaining, because you've actually done it, you've taken the action, therefore there are certain skills, plus there's dysfunctional skills that we can now sort out, which is incredible learning experiences. And I value these actually more than if you've done everything by the book, because then no one has learned from this. And now you've got the knowledge, but this is not knowledge anymore in terms of your head, JP. This now becomes applied knowledge, which I think is the most valuable thing that we can have, because the moment that you can apply it in all areas. So the next negotiation that you're going to do, this is what you're going to apply. So instead of saying, okay, I'm going to put 100,000 because I've got the 100,000, immediately how can I mitigate that risk in order to get a higher growth and get less risk, right? And this is, if you can get that, even if you learn nothing more from me, I think that is one thing that I'd like you and the rest of the people. They haven't paid the kind of money that you've paid for this information, but let's help others in the process as well, if it's okay with you.
No, perfect. If anyone else can learn something from you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You've made mistakes. I learn from your mistakes. I make mistakes. People can learn from my mistakes, and that's brilliant.
You see, it's not a mistake, JP, and that is something else. I've gained the experience, and then I pass that experience on to you. And this is the way that I taught my children. We gained those experiences, but we have paid for those experiences. It did not come for free. We had to pay for them. And if we can get them not to pay for those experiences, but still get the experience, and that's why you go through mentoring. Does that make any sense to you? So you speed up this whole experience thing by tapping into the experiences that other people have created, but they've paid for those in time, in effort, in money, as well as they had to change their mindsets. And this is where things go wrong, because especially when you start a business and things do not work out, then you think, the business is not for me. And people don't associate that it's a lack of competency. That's the reason why a business will never ever fail if you've got the competency, because let's face it, there are people that comes in, they start a business, another person buys the same business, and that business fails. Why? Simply because of a lack of competency and skills on the part of the business owner. And that is why in the from startup to income, we place such a lot of emphasis, and in the Rainmaker skill, a lot of emphasis to understand what you do and keep the risk as low as possible. right? So if you do make, let's call it a mistake, in order to gain a learning experience, you're not going to stop the whole process because it's maybe 100 or 300 rand that you're going to lose. It's not your house. Making sense, JP?
Yes, it does.
Okay. So I think that is more, there was a little bit more than I wanted to do today, but I think this is more than enough. Can I give you perhaps 1 or 2 assignments with the knowledge that you've got at the moment? Because that's the way that you're going to learn fastest. Right. So what I'd like you to do is to take this, more or less what we've got up to now, and prepare like a PowerPoint presentation. So immediately I'm going to show you another, let's call it skill, that you'll be able to use in your marketing, but that we can maybe help other people at the same time. Because in affiliate marketing, that the way that you're going to present it is going to be crucial, and then we can basically test what we've learned so far. Anything from your side, JP, that you'd like to know, or that you'd like to ask me, or that you think you can add value to?
No, honest, I'm just, I'm still so caught up in the excitement, that I doubled my money within a week, that I almost lost focus on protecting what I've already made. And this lesson, just brought me back, down to earth and said, go and protect your initial investment or your first sale first, and then do the risk reversal, and then we grow from there on. So that key lesson to me is worth a lot. So thank you for that.
No, that's my job. And that's why I'm here. Now, one of the reasons why I'm doing this, in the previous conversation that we had, you said that your wife wanted to be, let's say, you giving her this freedom that she can stay at home. But then you also said because of this coronavirus, there was a perception that you could lose it, and that's the reason why you do it. Right. So that protection is as important, if not more important, than making the money. Because it's no good growing 100%, grow 100%, and another 100%, and another 100%. Because if you lose then 100%, how much money do you have?
No, zero. Even minus 100%.
Right. Can you see? So we should be very careful how we pace ourselves, because it's to create. The create part was wonderful. You've done a brilliant job. You've actually exploded from zero, from an idea, into 4,500 Rand, which is infinite growth. And now our job is to get you to the 1,000. But at the same time, we need to protect at all costs that you've got, or minimize the risk so that out of your pocket, it does not cost you money. Right? And therefore the growth is going to be very, very high. Right. So are you up to the task to do like a presentation?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, as soon as you've got it, then come back to me. In the meantime, start working on how you think you can do the ads, and wait till you've got the money. In other words, that you've received the money. Then take the first 300 and something odd Rand out. Say, okay, this is my money. Now I haven't got any risk. And then let's see how we can grow that little business of yours.
Perfect. I'm going to do that, Hannes. Thank you.
Okay. So enough for today.
All right. Thank you, Hannes. Have a wonderful evening further.
The same to you, eh? See you. Cheers.